In this video, I'm going to talk about Unix, or sometimes I call it terminal. And so let's first talk about what is shell. And we will be using shells actually. Shell refers to the command line, we will see in a minute. And it takes your keyboard commands, when you add your keyboard commands to the shell, and it's going to pass them to your operating system. You can see it as a messenger between you and your operating system in here. And it's already supplied by GNU project names Bash. And Bash is the acronym for Born Again Shell. And so you may want to use the terminal to connect with shell. And since you are using a graphical user interface in here, which is much easier. And Unix has a hierarchical directory structure. What do I mean in here is that you have your root directory in somewhere, and then your other directories is going to be under this root directory. And when you have one directory in here, then you will have more child directories, and this is your parent directory in here. Actually, we will see them in detail, and it's going to be more clear for us. And so as I already told that the first directory is named as root directory, and there are one or several files, and you will have your subdirectories under root directory in here. So why the hell am I using shell? Why I bother myself to use shell? Actually, it is software free. So for shell, you just need to have one terminal there, and then you can just open your terminal and just go with that. So you don't have to have any software to use it. And it is faster than any other language. When you try to manipulate your data, or when you try to download any data from website or scrape data, and then it's going to be faster than anything in here because it's just software free. And you will be able to download data recursively. Let's assume that you are downloading a data from a newspaper web page, and you want to do that from today to like 20 years, from 20 years to today for every day. So it's going to be really hard for you to click the same page and to download the data. And you can just use shell to download the data to recursively in a much faster and an easier way. Sometimes you have to, especially if you are using a big data set. Let's say you have a data set with 25 gigabytes. And if you try to open that data sets in, like say in Excel, it's not possible. And before that, you have to use that terminal to like filter your data or to get some part of your data. And that's going to be a blast for us to use terminal in here. And why not? And using a terminal is kind of cool. Then why not to learn any kind of a language in here, okay? When you know more, and you will feel more comfortable when you are handling your data sets. So when you are ready, please first just keep in mind we have two main terms in here. And one is parent directory. It refers to the directory above another directory. Here you have your directory, and the one above in that directory is going to be parent directory in here. And every directory except the root one, this is the first one, your root directory, every directory except that root directory lies beneath another directory in here. And if you want to go to your parent directory, you should use two dots in here. And working directory is the directory in which you are currently working on. Every time you are in terminal, you are working in terminal, you will be in some directory. And when I say working directory, that means that directory that we are now working on, that one, okay? When you are ready, please open your terminal. So now I open iTerm 2. I'm using iTerm 2 on Mac. And iTerm2 now provides ZSH, which is Z shell. It was SSH before. And Z shell is an extension version of the Bourne shell. And now when you open your shell in here, you will see the name of your computer. And it was $sign before, but now you can see this sign. And now you are able to write your command on the right of this sign in here. And let's see, we can just start with pwdo. It's just showing you the location of your current working directory, which is print working directory. For example, in my case, I'm in users and Fulia after that. And so users is the parent directory for Fulia in here. And if you want to see the files in that current directory, you can just use ls. And so in actually overall, if you are using a comment in here, and you may want to add some options, and then you can just add dash and options and some more arguments after that. Okay, this is the overall schema for a comment in here. Let's say after my ls comment, I want to see more details about my files in here. Then now I can just add ls-l. And if you want to see them in more details and sorted by the file's modification date, you can just say ls-lt, and now you can see their modification dates in here. And these guys are giving some information about your permission on this file, your permission, and for the permission of the second person you are sharing this directory or the file, if you have file in there, and your permission, and then and after that you can see the permission of you and the group you are sharing this file in here. And if it is starting with D, that means it is showing the directory, and after that this is your permission, this is the permission that you share, and this is the permission of the third people that see this file. Okay, it can be readable or writable or editable in some cases. Okay. So we have CLSLT, and so if you want to see the files type, for example, let's say you want to see the file and files type of stat 561, there's something in here. If you just write some letters and just tab, and so the shell will find the full name of the file for you. And when I just use the file command, it just gives me that it is the directory in here. Okay, you can just clear the window, and so we can just use quit, just I'm in the exit to quit the shell in here. Okay, so let's say what I have in here. I have stat 564, for example, and let's me first that one. I want to generate a new one. Let's now I don't have it. I will show the remove command later. I want to, let's assume that you want to generate a new directory. Make dir stat 564. You see that one? I want to see. I generated a new directory now. Now I want to go inside this directory. You can just use change directory command and just write stat 564. And when you ls, so it is an empty directory, you want to see where you are now. You are in stat 564. And this is the directory now you are in here. And so you can just change your working directory. If you write change tilde, and now you are in your home directory. uses Furia is my home directory. If I just do change directory and tilde wherever I am, it will just go to that home directory for me. And now I want to again see my directories. I want to go to stat, sorry guys, 564. This is an empty one. And now I want to create new and empty files inside this directory. This can be done by using touch command in here. Touch my file one dot, let's say txt. And I want to generate a new one, touch my file 2.txt. So when I ls, you will see that now I have two new files I generated, and I can easily remove them. My file 1.txt, and when you just ls, you will see that you now have one of them. So since there is no unlaid in Unix like operating systems, please make sure when you are using the remove commands in here, when you remove it, you don't have that file anymore. So please try to use it carefully. And you can just move a file or a directory by using mv, which stands for move command. Let's say I want to move my file 2.txt to my file 3.txt. Oh, sorry guys. Let's say that. Okie dokie. So ls, and let's first remove that guy. It's an empty one. I want to generate a new file. My file 2.txt ls. Let's first clear, go there. And ls. Now I have my file my file 2.txt. I want to move that guy, my file 2.txt to my file 3.txt. I did typo before. And now when you ls, you don't have my file 2.txt anymore because you just moved that file to my file 3.txts. Okay. So we can generate a directory by using makedir. We used before, I guess. And here is the name of my new directory. I have my new folder. Here is my new folder. I can generate several of them, like dir1, dir2, dir3. When you ls, you will see that you have, or you can just ls, la. And you see that you have like 3 directories in here and one more, 4 directories, and you have my one file, which is a txt file. And so if you want to go into this folder, and you can just change directory. Let's say you want to go my new folder, and you are in my new folder now. You see it's an empty file. And if you get out of it, you can just type cd change directory and dot. Okay. Now we are in stat 564. So dot refers to the parent directory. And if you just write single dot, it refers to the working directory in here. Okay. So if you want to get out of the one directory, you can just use cd dot in here. And we can use up and down arrows to move around the commands we already used. And Linux will remember last 1000 commands for you. And you can also write left and right arrow case. And so if you want to rename a folder, you can again use move command, mv. And let's say what I have, for example, my new folder. I use move my new folder to my folder. Now I can, my folder. Now I can see that instead of my new folder, I changed the name to my folder. Okay. So also there are some random commands in Linux or Unix that you can just say date and you will see the date of today. Okay. Or you can just say, who am I? I am Fulya in here. and you can just try like host name, and stat metu edutr is the host name, stat-2 238.stat.metu edutr is the host name for us in here. Okay. Let's talk more about the directories and the files. And we already know that we have some files in here. Let's clear the window. I have this file, and I want to go inside my folder. And I want to generate one more directory inside that directory. Let's say I want to generate a subdirectory. Here is what, and I want to go inside that. Let's see, ls. You have subdirectory in my folder now, and you want to change directory to subdirectory. And you see now where you are. And so now I want to go back to the home directory. Change directory, and you see now I'm in home directory. So if you want to go back again to that subdirectory, you should write change directories to, start to what I had, my folder, and inside that one I had subdirectory. Now I went to subdirectory by using change directory again. Okay. Now we can change the name of a file and easily. So let's say I want to go up. Now I'm in my folder, and again I want to go up one more time. So where we are, and okie dokie. Now we have these directories in here, and now I want to change the name of a file. Move my folder. Here is my folder. I want to change it to data depot. And here is what I have now. Instead of my folder, I have data depot. Now I can copy a file or directory to a file or a directory. Okay. So let's generate one file. Touch file 1.txt. Now I want to copy that one. Please first ls. So you only have my file.txt. Now you generated that one in here. Now I want to copy file 1 to file 2. You can just use cp, stands for copy. And I have my file 1.txt, file 2.txt. Now when you just ls, you see both of them, file 1 and file 2. It's kind of different than using move. Move removes the first one, but now when you copy, you have two of them at the same time. So to use copy in here, you should have file 1.txt, of course, but not necessarily file 2.txt. And so we can prompt the user before overwriting an existing file. That's important for us. If you add an option like -i, then it's going to prompt the user. Let's say file 1.txt, file 2.txt. Then it's just asking you, do you want me to overwrite file 2.txt? And if you say yes, and you are good to go. Okay. We can copy file 1 and file 2 files into a directory in here. Let's say we have dir1. I want to copy these guys like file 1.txt and file 2.txt to dir1. So when you ls, or when you ls dir1, you will see that you have also file 1 to the file 1 and file 2s in directory 1. And so we can copy all files in directory 1 to directory 2. And let's say we have copy directory 1, and we are going to copy everything in this directory. If you use star, that stands for everything in that directory. I can get everything in here from dir1 to dir2. Let's first ls dir1. You see we have file1.txt and file2.txt, and you have ls dir2, you have nothing there. So I want to copy these guys, and you can just copy dir1 star, everything in there, to dir2, and when you ls dir1, and when you ls dir2, you will see that you copied everything in here. And so we can also remove a directory. Let's say we want to remove dir3. We can, if we use remove dir3, it doesn't work because remove is removing files, but dir3 is a directory. You can just use remove dash r and dir3, and when you ls, you will not see that one. Okay, and you can remove a file by using remove. Let's say I want to remove my file.txt. When you ls, you don't have anything in here. Okay, so when you are generating file names, please try to avoid some characters. Let me write them if it's possible. Yes, these are the characters you should avoid when you are generating and your file names in here. Okay, so we will try to do a new example. So let's create a kitchen for yourself. Here is our kitchen. Go inside your kitchen. This is an empty file. Where are we now? We are in kitchen and it's empty. And now we want to cook some food. Let's touch pilav and bean. When you ls, you have bean and pilav. Okay. And so you want to copy a file into this current directory. Okay. So there is the password file in etc. in Mac. I think it may not be there in Windows. And I want to copy this file into my current directory. So when you ls, you have your pilav and bean, and also you have the password file now. Okay, that stands for this. This stands for your current directory in here. Let's play around. I want to move my password file to yogurt. Here is my files now. I have bean, pilav, and yogurt. And also I want to generate a new directory inside my kitchen, which is dir1, and ls, and you see dir1 there, and you want to move your yogurt to dir1. So when you ls dir1, you see your yogurt inside that. Okay, so you can also move a file into another directory. Let's first generate another directory dir2 ls, and now you want to move yogurt, which is in dir1, to dir2. When you ls dir1, which is empty, when you ls dir2, you have yogurt in there. Okay, and so you can also move a file into current directory. Let's do move dir2, and we have yogurt there. I want to move it into current directory. When you ls, that's clear. When you ls, you see now you're in your current directory in here. Okay, let's do more. We move yogurt. Let's do more practice. dir1. Okay, and we move dir1. Oh my God, move dir1 and dir2. move dir1 to dir2 when you ls. You see, we only have dir2 now. And now ls l dir2. And you have dir1 inside. That's ls dir2. You have dir1 inside. And you can also ls l dir1 and or dir2. I think you have dir1 in there. You have your inside of that. If you want to return to the beginning, you can just move dir1 in dir2 to the current directory. Maybe what this should be, I need tab in between. Okie dokie. Now I can move yurt, which was in, let's see, where is it? ls dir1. This is there. Yurt in dir1, and I want to get it in dir1 to current directory. Okay, so when you just check out, you are just at the very beginning. Okay, so also you may want to move several files into a single file. Let's generate first several files. We can generate them by using touch command. Let's say file, and when you add like 1 -5 .txt, you see, you have file 1 to file 5. These two can be used to generate file to .txt. These two dots can be used for that one. And so if you may want to move all your files into a single file. Let's say I want to get all of them by using cat. Cat just gets everything in there. I mean, just write, for example, if you say cat1.txt, it's going to write the txt file. Since it's an empty one, you didn't see anything. But if you had any sentences inside of that file, you will see that by using cat command. So you can just read all of them. Cat is used for reading your files. Let's say I use file star. That means it's just getting every file starting with file and just put them to all files.txt. Okay. When you ls, now you have your txt files, but you also just copied all of them in all files.txt. Okay, you move them there. And we can, I want to also introduce you a new command, which is echo. Echo displays a line of text in here. Let's say if you just say echo, it's empty because you had tab there. And so let's say echo, this is my first statement. Then you will see your first statement in there. You can do some arithmetic expansion in here. Echo $. 7 minus 7. Here is 0. You can just do arithmetic expansion. And you can say echo 100 over 20 equals, then add $sign for arithmetic expansion 20. Now you see 100 over 20 is 5. Okay. And we can also use brace expansion. I think we already used it before in generating files. So let's say echo, which is going to be really helpful, guys. 0, 1, ... You see, now you are able to write the numbers or the sequence from 1 to 100. And let's say, what else we can do? Echo from 2016, 2017. And we have 0, 1, 12. Okay. Now, so we can use this option, for example, to generate some recursive files for ourselves. Let's see an example. I want to make consecutive files for my photos, for example. Let's say I have a new directory, make dir photo, and I want to go to that directory, and you see it's an empty one. And I can just generate new directories for myself to store my photos in here from 1983 to like 2021, from the first month to the last month. Okay, so you want to get all your photos and put them in an order of years and months. And so you will need lots of files in here, and you can just generate them consecutively by using your shell. And when you ls, you will see that you have all your files now, or you can just say lsl. You have all your files from 1983 to 2021. Okay, this is kind of helpful for us, and easy to generate some consecutive files. It's going to be really helpful for us when we are working on big data. Okay. So I want to say something about star that we used before. Let's say star. Okay. I want to say something about the star sign in here. So star is not any character for Linux, and it has some special meaning. It is one of the wildcards for Linux in here. It means match any character in a file name. Let's say if you want to, if you say echo the star, then no matches starting with D in here. Echo C star, and it didn't find any of them. Okay. And I think this is all I wanted to say. Maybe we can go up and say ls. Let's say go f star. You see what I mean now? When I say f star, it's going to show me all the files starting with f in here, or let's say echo p star. Then it just shows you photo and pilav in here. So this is all I wanted to say about the files and directories in Unix.